Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, December 5th. Mrs. Pazurski, if you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Dargan? Here. Mrs. Brate? Here. Mr. Costello?
Here. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please also join me in the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, we will move into our Spotlight on Excellence. We are here at the awesome Amesway School, and we will turn it over to our awesome new principal, Caitlin Bishop, who's here with the assistant principal, Jeannie Milch.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and welcome to Amesway, everybody. As mentioned, I am Caitlin Bishop, the new principal of Amesway. We've had an excellent year so far, a lot of wonderful things and celebrations across the board. Some new things to Amesway, by the way. Feel free to walk about the building after the meeting and see some of our changes. We also recently have started the Lunch Around the World program and have hosted guest visitors to teach us about Chile. And last Friday we had a family join us to celebrate and share some of the traditions, language, and culture of Ghana, which was absolutely fantastic. So today, Spotlight on Learning, we're going to be learning some social emotional tools that we have started here at Amesway, which we're very excited about. So, big question for all educators everywhere, every day. How do we create positive, safe, and supportive learning environments for all students? How do we make sure all students feel valued, heard, and respected? This is a box. When I was a teacher, several lifetimes ago, I realized pretty quickly that in the middle of instruction, you're often asked many, many times a day by students, can I talk to you? I have a problem. Someone hurt my feelings. I'm upset. I'm angry. I can't do this. And how do you juggle that while also making sure you're doing your instruction and keeping your class on course? So the idea behind the box is whenever students have a feeling, this is their way to share that feeling or their emotion or their worry. And it also represents all voices in the classroom community. Students can put in items that are positive praise that include student names, or they can share feelings, frustrations, questions, concerns, and definitely not urgent personal matters which the teacher would deal with immediately. But it gives the students a place, as you will see from the students themselves in our video, to voice their concerns, leave the emotional baggage in a safe place, and then at a certain designated time, the class can have a conversation about how to solve those issues together and learn from them. So again, it gives every student a voice. Discussing what's inside the box together helps build relationships. It helps foster a safe learning environment for students because they learn how to solve their problems with each other. Oh, there we go. In those conversations, you also create a culture of goal setting and reflection, which was important for any student. It's also authentic learning at its best, because what gets more authentic than actual issues kids are facing in the moment, every day. Student motivation, celebration, and again, it teaches them those critical skills of advocacy, communication, and gives them tools and strategies. So here's an example of what you might get in your box. If I were a teacher, this happened on a daily basis. So again, if you read those examples, my feelings got hurt at recess, I made a new friend today. I, as a classroom teacher, once a week, might sit my class down, review the examples, and ask my students, what trends are you seeing, class, in our box inputs? Students would look, students would reflect, students would see what patterns there might be. You might see positive patterns, like, wow, we're learning how to make new friends, and we're feeling more included, and we're giving each other compliments, which is very positive. You might also see some patterns in recess, which you might want to talk about as a class. How are we communicating with each other? How are we making sure everyone feels listened to and that feelings are not being hurt? So steps that I used when I was a classroom teacher. As a class, you identify those patterns or concerns. You guide the class through conversations of how to make goals to solve those problems. And then as a class, you identify and discuss strategies to either be proactive, to reduce those problems, or how to solve those problems in the moment. I also, being a total data nerd, love to make my data visible in the classroom. So based on whatever I accumulated as a classroom teacher, I encouraged my class to make a goal which we would post and track throughout a month, a term, a week, whatever it was that we were working on. Especially for younger students, you build towards incentives so that if we are creating a more positive classroom culture, we earn a celebration. There are many things you can use for the box. It has endless possibilities, and that is one thing that I was happy to share with teachers here at Amesway. So what you're about to see next is a collection of student interviews, which are totally unscripted, by the way. And you're going to get a few laughs, but it's also pretty impressive how our first graders, second graders, third graders, and fourth graders have used the box and benefited from the box in many different ways. Turn it off the lights so it's easier to see. Turn off the lights. And enjoy our wonderful students of Amesway. That silly spinning wheel. Oh, nope, there we go, let's see. Let's try again. No, we're good, there it goes. Here we go, there it is.
The box is on Facebook where you talk to other people. In this case, it's your teacher, and you want to state the problem, and then you write in my comments what it is. It helps me with my social issues, and it's like when you have something bad going on in your family, you just talk to your mom and she'll be there for you. It's kind of like that, and think of the paper as your mom. You can always write on it, and the issue will always be dealt with. In each class, in the first box of the paper, I need help with school. And if a kid needed help with schoolwork, they color out on it and then write they needed help. If they had a social issue, they would color that box and then write, and then you would comment for something, you would color it and write, and if you had anything other, you would color it and write that. So the box is just this thing, it gives every kid a voice, and you don't have to put your name on the form. And so, like, it can be anonymous. So, like, say I had something social in school that I didn't want everybody to know about except Mr. Floyd, and I could fill out the form and put it in the box, and Mr. Floyd would know about it, and like he would like maybe just like help me like with my schoolwork and all that stuff. The process is if you get into a fight, you get the paper and then you fill in the box stuff. I have schoolwork, I have a social issue, I have a compliment for someone or other. And then there's a box where you can write what that is, and then you give it to the teacher, she'll read it, she'll look it over, and she'll help you. It's something that if you feel sad or happy, and it feels good. You can circle the feeling that you're feeling, and then you circle the place that it happened. You can put in compliments, social issues, issues in the class. It's your homework is hard, or like assessments are hard. It's basically like that. You can share whatever you want to share in the box. that you're thinking you want to share?
The box is a place where you can put your feelings, and you can put like a compliment for somebody, and like if you have like a social issue or if you need help with schoolwork, and it helps you like you can keep it private and you don't have to write your name, but if you want the teacher to know about it, you can write your name. And I think it's like really good because I've had a few like issues this year and it really helped me. Yeah, I think it's very helpful because especially for the people who like are doing good things at like recess and every day, you can notice stuff, and that's a way that you can like give them a compliment.
Boxes help the class because if someone has a problem, they may get angry and take it out on the other students in the class. But if they write it down, they get their anger out on a piece of paper. They may want to push their pencil down when they write, but then they can give it to the teacher who will help them with their emotions.
If you're feeling sad or worried about something. The boxes all filled with paper, and it has ferocious, sad, or
Ferocious, by the way, ferocious.
mad, or happy. And whenever you're feeling one of them, you circle it. And also, when you circle it, you can go to the corner. And it's a corner where you can comment gently. And it's also like a monitor in there. They put it in Mr. Flanagan, where a teacher will talk about it and say who has like something that could help the situation. What you could say to the person. So maybe next time you could say like what you have, like what you can say independently without a teacher. Or like look at it, if there's like pink ones, that means you're feeling happy, but if there's white ones, that means you're worried, sad. And also, sometimes she sees her name, then you can eventually talk to them.
It helps our class communicate with each other. It's helped because like whenever there's a problem, if Mr. Flanagan didn't know about it, it would just form into a huge mess all over the place. And it helps because Mr. Flanagan knows about all the bad things and all the compliments and how people are doing in school, and like if they're having trouble with work, or actually you could put something like if you're doing really good with work or something.
So I think the box helps our class because Mr. Flanagan now knows what's happening.
If Mr. Flanagan doesn't see it happening, he can know about it still because of the box. And so like say I see something at recess or anything like that, bad or like something good, I can fill out a form that says like, say I fill out a compliment for Brian, and it says, Brian is a great friend because when I was sad, he helped me be happy again.
Because it is only to get something out, and you don't have to face someone face to face. He talks about social issues and he gives out compliments. He tells names when it's the compliments. He doesn't tell names when it's a social issue or people who need help with school. And they can tell Mr. Flanagan if he needs to like slow down or like speak louder. And the social issues, we can talk about how to solve it and what to do when that's happening. And I like it because there's a lot of compliments things that I would like to tell my teacher about. Just like without telling him, like at his desk, I can just put it in the box and he'll read it. And like people sharing the different ideas they have in their head about like compliments and saying nice words about each other and having nice talk, so it's not all bad. So good. So then at recess, if we like see people doing great things, like just being kind and being like really positive to other people and helping out, you can give a shout out, and there's a shout out box on a piece of paper. And you can color that box in, and you can write a name down and what they did. And then when we share the things, to like give a shout out to the person on the paper, and he'll tell them what they did and how it was really nice. I really like the box because it like helps our class communicate with each other. I really like how we can write down our feelings, like not having to have anyone else know, and knowing that it's a safe spot to like be able to like tell what we really need to do. And it's really nice because I feel like it's changed a lot of the issues and helped our class like grow together and be better. It helped us like so we could express our feelings. We could put like sad things in the box, happy things in the box, frustrating things in the box. I really like it because, like what she said, it's a way to like express our feelings without not having them in mind. Because sometimes if you didn't have the box and you went to tell the teacher, it might not be private. But I really like it, so it's a kind of like a private thing, and I like how we can give compliments to other people because it makes people feel good because there's been a lot of compliments. I just like it because it like helps every kid. Like you don't have to say it out loud or anything. They have to put it on a sheet, and Mr. Brown will definitely read it. But it can be anonymous and non-anonymous if you want everybody to know that it's you, so like they can help you. And also, I just like it because every kid in our class can like they can tell Mr. Flanagan whatever they want to say about something that's been happening that's bad or a recess or something, or like a compliment. They can give compliments, or like I just really like the box because it's a really good like thing for the class. Then at the end of the day, before we read our like book, Mr. Flanagan would pull out all of the papers and he would read them to the whole class and like say that compliment about Cindy. And she would say like, Connor gave a compliment to Cindy for being nice at lunch. Me personally, I really like the compliments, and because like the compliments are out of this world sometimes. We can talk about the problems about the name calling, and we never do it again. We like the compliments because it makes me feel good that someone did a good thing or the right thing. You can express your feelings in the box and write down, like if you're sad, you can write down like something that somebody did and like something that happened at music, library, recess, art. I can tell you one. It's no one played with me at recess. Or another happy one is a friend played with me at recess and I feel really happy. Shout out at me. Because there's like a little sad and happy one. Like you can fill out a happy paper and you can like, instead of saying somebody needs a sticker, you can write it down on the happy mark.
It's good to know all those things, so if something happens, you can help your friend out, and the box helps out. So it basically like fills in the whole problem, and it definitely helps a lot. That's why I like the box.
So like we sit at the rug and we ask questions about it, and the person who wrote down it, we ask them what happened at recess, and especially the lunch. And you have to put it in the paper, or else the teacher doesn't know.
So the paper also lets the teacher know more things?
Yeah. And they don't know who it is if you don't write your name.
That's true.
It helps you like make you not sad.
Yeah.
Happy.
Why does it make you feel happy?
Because it helps us.
Do you help each other solve the problems?
Yeah.
I like that Mr. Fleming like knows all this stuff that he needs to know.
You get to write it and then you choose, like you check in the box. You write what's bothering you, what's happening. You fold it, put it in the box, and then he reads it. And then you can finally let it go. It's just relieving. It's like, I'm finally got that off my shoulders, and I'm free from that now. And it's like, wow. Just wow.
So, that's a tough act to follow. But the last student there hit the nail on the head where one of the best benefits of the box is, especially for students of trauma or students with a lot of things going on in their lives, or maybe they don't have the emotional ability to handle those certain situations in their lives, especially elementary children. This lets them let it go, it lets it go to a safe space, and they know and they trust that their teacher is going to help them. So we're very excited about it. Our kids love it, and we can't wait to see what comes next. Thank you.
It's just a box.
Just a box.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. I think that was a great presentation and demonstrates the level of social emotional learning that's happening here at Ames Way. And just the fact that those kids feel comfortable talking about that in front of the camera is really impressive. And it says a lot about the work you folks are doing here. So anybody else have any questions or anything to add?
I have a question. I heard you mention kindergarten through fourth grade.
So first through fourth grade.
First through fourth. What are you doing with your fifth graders?
So fifth graders, interestingly enough, good question. So one of the classes in fifth grade they tried it. And the class that tried it, I will say, is highly extroverted. So they tried it a couple rounds, I think several weeks. Yes, and they got to a point where, again, very outspoken students in that class, very extroverted, they clicked and realized, well, why don't we just talk to each other about it instead of writing it down? I can just go to so-and-so and just talk about it. Do I have to write it down? So, again, embracing the development and the ability and the skills that that class possesses since, I think, about a month or so. They've kind of flown and they've been able to handle a lot of things themselves. I think if they do transition, as many classes do in the course of the school year, where they need to revisit different tools and communication, I think they might revisit it. But also, honestly, with just those students, I had over 2 hours of film. I was just trying to pare it down. So, yes,
So
they had a lot to
It
say.
seems like you're really enjoying it.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
I'm just
And
so
for-
impressed with the vocabulary.
I was too.
Yeah,
It
teacher therapist.
was incredible, especially some of our first graders, some of the things that were coming out of their mouths. I couldn't believe it as I was filming it. So the questions I asked them were, what is the box? How is the box helping you in your class? And what do you like about the box? That was it. And that's what I got. And I didn't want to keep you here all night, of course. But the outtakes and some of the other things that the other students said, incredible. So we're very impressed with them.
I will also add, a lot of those students are shy students.
Yes, so that was something too. So a lot of students that I would not have expected to sign up to volunteer for this, signed up for this. And you could tell some of them are definitely on the shyer side, but for them to have the confidence, but also the passion, conviction to speak about how this resource has changed their experience, it's inspiring.
And I'll just add that when we met last spring for our interview, the box was one of the things that Ms. Bishop had talked about as far as something that worked at her school, and she wasn't going to rush into it, but if there was something that she was going to bring forward from her previous experiences, this was probably going to be one of them.
That's right,
It's great to
yes.
see it
And so
come to
I'm also
fruition.
very grateful that a few of our teachers have tried to play with it.
Yeah.
Again, there's infinite applications and resources and ways to use it. I used it in urban middle school in Fall River, and it was a hit. You would never imagine 8th graders saying, when are we going to talk about what's inside the box? But they loved it. They looked forward to it. You can do like you choose a student of the week. So all through that week, it's about that kid. We're going to fill the whole box with awesome things about this kid and celebrate them on Friday and share all the great things about every single student every week. There's just so much you can do with it. So we're happy to have it. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
So,
Round of applause. I think
we have fun.
you're doing great work here at Aimsley. Thank you very much. And we appreciate you hosting us tonight. There's some PTSD for us in this room because this is where Mr. Granditino told us he was retiring.
Can we do it again?
Please don't. Tell us you're changing your mind. Okay, we're going to skip over the informational piece and move that to the end for our district leadership up here. But I am going to bring forward student representatives and turn it over to you guys. I'll do that after students.
Should we sit?
You can stand here. You can do whatever you want. You can stand right there and do it from there. That's totally fine. Do you want to stand while you do it? Stand up. Let us all.
So first off, starting with all the elementary schools, they were invited to join the Family Math Night yesterday. So that was hosted at Martinson. Everyone wore pajamas. They participated in activities such as family photo booth, learning about iReady, exploring math at home, and playing a variety of math games. Johnny Webster, they had their DWS dentist program that started December 1st. And then tomorrow they have their 12 days of reading that begins. So trivia questions being announced in the morning, and then whoever the first class answers right, they'll be able to win a prize. Ames Way, their Scholastic Book Fair starts this week, and the new theme of the month is caring. And then, as I said before, the lunch around the world last Friday with learning about the country of Ghana. Governor Winslow, 5th grade peace leaders began to help lead the GWS Gives Back drive for this holiday season. So they'll be collecting donations for food drive, coats for kids, Marshfield Community Christmas. Martinson, they also did a round the world lunch and learned about Tanzania. And then they began a mitten tree for students to have a chance to donate hats, gloves, scarves, and then other winter necessities. And then all of it will be going towards the sewing seeds. And then lastly, South River, they will also have the book fair that starts this week, Monday to Friday.
At FEMS, the midterm of Term 3 is this Friday. There's a food drive ran by the Middle School Student Council, taking place from yesterday until the 15th. Cluster awards were given out last week. Mr. Murphy, an 8th grade math teacher, has been recognized as Educator of the Week. The middle school comfort dog, Winnie, celebrated her birthday. And then for the high school, the winter concerts are being held tomorrow night and Thursday night. DECA's district competition is happening in the Cape this Thursday and Friday. Quarter 2's midterm is this Friday. There's also a mystery and suspense class. They're going to be taking on a trip to Bodibor. I'm really excited for it. And then the DECA Shop local event will take place next Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Great job.
We've reached the point of the meeting for public participation. If any member of the public wishes to address the committee, now is that time. Seeing none, we've reached the point of the meeting for the MEA update. I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Raymond.
All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Hope everyone's doing well. Mr. Costello, members of the Marshfield School Committee, I hope you're all well. Happy holiday season to you and your families, and as always, thank you for the time given to the MEA today. Tonight, I'm excited to highlight the work being done by 2 dedicated educators in the therapeutic learning centers at Marshfield Public Schools. First, MEA Professional Rights and Responsibilities Co-Chair Marianne Bursaw recognizes Ms. Rachel Dunn, ESP in the MALSC program at Furnace Brook Middle School. Of Rachel, Ms. Bursaw writes, above and beyond at FBMS are many, but I would like to recognize Ms. Rachel Dunn. Rachel is a graduate of MHS and has been working at FBMS for 2 years. She has shown her caring and compassion when supporting the children in this program every day that she is here at Furnace Brook. Rachel has formed positive relationships with students and staff and is willing to help out anywhere she is needed in the building. Just recently, there's been a need to help out in the TLC program, and Rachel jumped right in to do anything that was needed to help students and staff. She has a contagious smile and laugh. She makes the students feel at ease. Rachel is a keeper for us at FBMS. At Governor Winslow School, Teacher Unit Representative Don Backlund wants the committee and the town to know about the work being done at the GWS Therapeutic Learning Center by educators like Ms. Jen Urardi. Ms. Backlund writes, Jen is a lead teacher in the Therapeutic Learning Center at GWS and a social worker. I have had the pleasure of witnessing her positive, calm, and caring demeanor, not only with her students, but with staff as well. Not only is she incredibly knowledgeable in her area of expertise, but she works hard to teach both students and staff information and strategies that she knows will work for all students to feel successful academically and socially. She is truly a guardian angel for these students and goes above and beyond to provide them with the learning experiences they need to be successful at Governor Winslow. Educators like Rachel and Jen work in the therapeutic learning centers across our district to support the whole student academically, emotionally, socially, and personally. Their job is to serve and empower the whole child. Ms. Dunn, Ms. Irardi, and their colleagues across Marshfield work in the TLC program to help students reach and recognize their potential inside and outside the classroom, patiently and compassionately guiding them to academic success and to enjoy all that's wonderful about being a kid. Please remember these names. Rachel and Jen are 2 of hundreds of educators in our schools who do the immense good of supporting the growth and happiness of children. Their responsibilities are many, their contributions are invaluable. Your continued support of educators like Ms. Dunn and Ms. Irardi is most assuredly what's best for kids. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond.
I may add, Ms. Urardi was one of our Educators of the Week 2 years ago, so she was recognized even then, so they're both doing great work. Thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Raymond, like I said, I absolutely love that segment, so keep them coming. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
We have minutes. We'll move the minutes to the end as well, Mrs. Pazerski. I have an update on the superintendent search process, but we're going to take the 3 other agenda items before we do that. So I'll move some things around. I'm going to take the AFS students first. So I'm going to turn that on over. I'll turn it over to you to introduce them.
Our annual visit from Sal Morning and her students who are doing this is the domestic AFS excursion that they take on, and they go to very unique places. We learned a little bit about Goodland, Kansas before you got here. We were looking at it has the world's biggest easel. I don't know if you knew that.
That's a sunflower queen. It's a sunflower queen.
Oh, that's very cool. Wonderful.
Mr. Miller was
Mr.
very
Miller was
excited about it.
It's very cool.
So, floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay, well, here I have with me some of the officers in our club, and that's Posey, Ella, and Sean, okay? And they have been members for past 2 or 3 years?
I've been a member since my end of my freshman year.
Yeah, and you guys joined 3 years. Yeah, 13 years now. So they've participated in many of these activities before, where last year we went to upstate New York, fighting Niagara Falls. And then obviously the year before that we didn't go anywhere. And they have also hosted and helped out when we have international students come in the fall as well from the district. And this year we have a student, Dua, who's here from Morocco for the year, who speaks, I don't know how many languages. And you would never know that she's, didn't speak English as her first language. She's amazing.
Awesome.
So she's fabulous, and hopefully she'll be able to join us as well on this. But we're going to be going to Goodland, Kansas in March, with your permission, and see what their life is like there. I've been twice before because I've done this for a million years. But their school population is, what was it you guys were saying, like 400 or 500?
Yeah, like the whole town population was like 4,000. Like it's so small.
Yeah. And it's very fun and it's very different. So, I mean, what do you guys like to do about, like,
Well, I've had like a really great experience with the exchange program because like it's just really cool to learn about like the different domestic cultures. Like I didn't get to go to New York, but I did host someone, and I just learned so much about like this like random small town in New York. And also I know that she had like a lot of fun coming here and going to Boston like for the first time and just doing fun activities with us.
seeing the ocean?
Yeah, yeah. She had never seen like the ocean because they're like completely landlocked.
Yeah, I joined AFS because we had a visitor from Germany come 2 years ago, and she was great, and I loved sharing with her what Marshfield was about, and I think having people from Goodland would be really nice here to share with them what we do here.
Yeah, so I joined because my mom was trying to get me to get in some clubs, because like that's what all freshman parents do. So I joined, I came in, I was like, hi, I'm here for AFS, I don't know what's going on. And we were planning a trip to the MFA, and that was great. It was my first like high school trip. I had tons of fun, got to walk around. I'd never been there before, so that was cool. And then last year was my first time with our international weekend, where we host international students who are living around our area. And I love talking with these students about their cultures and their interests, and it's really helped me like learn a lot more about the world. So.
And ourselves.
Yeah,
We learn a lot about ourselves, you know, and when we take the kids that are in the area, including whoever we're hosting, we do things with them. We take them, you know, to Boston or Martha's Vineyard or whatever, we go bowling or whatever, just, you know, to share those things. And for some of our kids, that's their first time experiencing some of these things, like bowling. So sad, I'm still pushing bowling, but.
Or duck pin.
Candle pin.
Candle.
Candle pin, yes. So, anyway, so we hope to host them at the beginning of March, and then we will hope to have them host us towards the end of March. And that's what we're requesting permission for.
Any questions or comments from the members of the committee?
I'll just say that as a high school senior, we hosted a student from Slovakia for 6 months that went to Marshfield High School, even though I didn't. And it was definitely an impactful experience in my life. And so I'm thrilled that the program is happening and that our kids today are able to experience similar things. So kudos.
Yeah, I think it's great. I hope that you guys take these experiences, and even when you become adults and you have jobs and you're out, more in the world, that you'll do this with your own families and encourage other people to do it. I think a lot of times, I'm sure everybody in this room can speak to the same thing, that we often get stuck in our own bubble, our own small town, small world, whatever it is, bubble of our, where we work, or, our family, our close friends. And it's so nice to see you guys, jumping out of the box, so to say, and doing really cool stuff. So looking forward to hearing about it.
I'm sure there'll be some culture shock for you. I mean, it's definitely going to be a little different. I want to add.
No trees.
Yeah, it's
No
going to be
water
different.
nearby.
Nothing is like tornadoes or anything.
Yeah. I want to compliment all of you, and Ms. Salamone too. I think you're probably used to us all asking the kids questions about it, and you've got them ready to go. And you guys came in and told us about your experience, which is really important for us to hear. So we appreciate that, and we look forward again to hearing, like Ms. Braid said, hearing about the experience you have in March. And I will say, Sean started at the start of the alphabet for this club. He also went all the way to the end. He's in youth and government with me. So Sean's got it covered from A to Z. Yeah, please.
How many kids are in this club?
15 or so, 15 to 20.
Is that how it has been for the past?
Yeah, during COVID we were like down to 6.
Yeah.
But it fluctuates from a dozen to 30. It goes up and down, and it depends on kids. It's like their friends with their friends. To do it,
It's really cool.
We're always looking for more kids. We're always looking
Can I
for
join?
hosts. You have kids leaving your homes and something. Okay.
Guys, actually,
a lot of space.
Only one left. Only one
You have lots of them.
Yeah, Joey's got some ropes.
Anyway, I'll push for that.
Awesome. Anything to add, Jeff?
I just think it's wonderful, any chance, as you've all said, to expand our horizons, and again, whether it's domestic or international, just getting out and about and meeting people from other areas and learning about their cultures and their customs, and it's awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough for doing this and representing the district out there for us, and have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. The chair will entertain a motion from the AFS Club to travel to Goodland, Texas from March 21st.
Kansas.
Goodland, Kansas. Goodland, Kansas. Don't go to Texas. From March 21st to the 24th, 2024. Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Brady. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 300. Have an awesome trip.
Thank you very much.
Sean, I expect to hear all about it.
Yes. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Yes, my exchange student was Mr. Santorino's prom date.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think we might do the contract next week. This is a second read, and we'll introduce the MCM contract, and I'll turn it over to you, Jeff.
Sure. We had presented the amendments that had been made, myself, Mr. Grabowski, Mr. Miller, Mr. Cawthorn, Ms. Williams, others from the MCM sat in various meetings over the last year or so, looking at the contract. Again, it was previously a 10-year contract. We have shrunk down this continuation a little bit, just based on some other arrangements that MCM will have with a couple of their cable contacts. But the language that we presented to you folks last week was also presented to the MCM board, and they voted to agree to the new contract.
Unanimously.
Yes, unanimously.
So we just need a second read and a vote, and if there's any questions.
Does the committee have any questions or comments on this? I know we had a bit of a discussion on it at the last meeting.
I do not.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the contract between Marshfield Public Schools and Marshfield Community Media on the floor?
So moved.
So moved from Ms. Dargan. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brayton. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 300. Thank you. We appreciate it. Appreciate that continued partnership.
Continued partnership,
Yep.
Exactly.
Great. Same wavelength there, Mr.
You guys do so much great work, and I want to just thank you as an aside for all the coverage you did for the fall events and sporting activities that took place, especially over at Gillette last week. That was a cold night. And you folks were...
Our team was in a warm broadcast booth.
What's that?
Our team was in a warm broadcast booth.
Oh, nice.
So
Not
they lucked out.
Yeah, they were probably loving that.
Yeah. But you guys do great work, and you're continuing to grow, and it impacts our kids and our schools greatly, so thank you.
You know, it's a big part of our mission, what we do with the schools, it's been a great partnership over the past 10 years, which is wild to think about. It says a lot that the original contract, not much has changed. That's been such a good, and it's also great because it gives us stability over the next 3 years to know that there is a home for MCM, so it's nice to know that in an ever-changing cable landscape. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have the acceptance of a donation, and I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Granatino, and I know we're going to recognize Robin Ryan Lambert, Robin Claus, who's here to talk about.
So I will quickly turn it over to Robin, because she is really the person at the center of all of this, and the work of the Rib Cook-Off Committee. I know it used to be called the North Community Church Rib Cook-Off. Now it's just the Community Cook-Off, Rib Cook-Off. Again, kudos to you all for what you do. I know Robin's going to talk a little bit more about it and about the presentation, or if one of the folks from the Rib Cook-Off would like to come up and speak to the group. Or Robin, why don't you, as you did last year, why don't you introduce everybody first? From the
Oh my goodness. I think I'll have them introduce themselves. I get so nervous. I definitely, but ahead of that, I would just like to say that, I've been so fortunate within this district to have the support of a number of different organizations who help me within the work that I do for the McKinney-Vento program, and, meeting the needs of these students who are homeless or in foster care, or even some of the families who are having significant economic hardship. We want to address these needs in such a way that these students feel that they're comforted, that their needs are met, and that they can participate in just about anything they would like to participate. And by doing that, we're mitigating some of the negative aspects of their circumstances. So this is one of the groups who I've been so very fortunate to become familiar with. Their donations over the past several years have helped this program to such extents. I do try to keep them very informed with some of the impact that their donations have had to the point where I guess I've made a few people cry. I would never intend to do that. But I want to turn it over. I want each of them to, you know, to introduce themselves, and then Steve, I would love for Steve to, because he can word it so much better than I, about their mission, everything they do, and how I became a part of it. So we'll start this in and go on down.
Steve Condos.
Allison Donnell.
Susan Sloan. John Kale. Kevin Coyne. Robert Chalman.
Mary Alcoshian.
Stephen Alcoshian.
Molly Diorse.
You want me up there?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I think I know a lot of you in the room. The Rib Cook-Off was started pretty much as a mission to do mission. And it's grown into a mission that continues to do mission, but in a much broader sense, in a much bigger way. The board, we put this together 3 or 4 years ago. We decided that the money that we raise should really stay centrally located in Marshfield, and it does. 100% of what we raise on the day of the event goes to local charities. McKinney-Vento, I think if you look at it in the last 2 years, we've donated $45,000 to McKinney-Vento in the last 2 years. We contributed $50,000 to the community this past year alone. $15,000 went to the food pantry, $24,000 went to McKinney-Vento, $6,000 went to North Community Church Adult Mission, and in all honesty, I am the leader of that group, so there's a little sway sometimes in that. Marshfield Facts, which also works in the high schools and the elementary schools, they could receive some money from us. We gave money to the Veterans Organization in the town of Marshfield, as well as Gold Star Wives, which they do a wreath laying ceremony down at Bourne National Cemetery in December, but they also work with vets who are homeless or their families who have been left behind, who are in financial need. So we feel as though that's our mission, is to make sure that where there's a need, no matter who it is within this town, if we can help out, we will. We stick pretty much with those organizations because they fit our mission, and our mission is to raise awareness first and foremost in any chances that we get anywhere that we can. This year, if you were at the Rib Cook-Off, you would have noticed that there were signs all around the fairgrounds showing the various organizations that get the money. And also, if you go to our website, they're there. And the link to, if they have a website or a Facebook page, the link is there so people can get more information on each one of those organizations. We feel as though it's not just important for them to know who we are, but we think it's important for them to also understand the mission of the organizations that we donate the money to. We're really proud of what we've done. We're very careful about how we do it. And we will continue to try to grow that amount of money every single year so that we can push more out to the community. The organization is really thankful to Marshfield as well. Both businesses, and Laurie, you know that because we deal a lot with the Chamber of Commerce. They are very helpful to us, but we also have businesses outside of the town of Marshfield who have stepped up and helped out. So the footprint is getting bigger, and we really want it to continue to grow because obviously the more money we raise, the more impact we can have in this community. And Marshfield's a very giving community. I think we all know that, and we're very fortunate to be here and be a part of it. Robin's an easy sell. I mean, as much as she makes us cry, the night that we distribute the check, we make her cry because it's like, okay, Robin, guess what? We're hopefully going to, raise more money than we did last year. We managed to do that again this year. As I said, our goal is every single year to try to raise more money to affect those different organizations because we think it's important. But I do want to thank everyone here because I know there's a lot of support in this room. If you haven't been, it's September 7th.
7.
So come on down. We're working on improvements already. We're going to
be hungry.
Come hungry. It's a great time, but we always look forward to it every year, and the support of the community is awesome. So we can't thank you enough.
And again, I'm so grateful. As I go through the presentation, you'll get a better sense of some of the ways in which these funds are used that have such a positive impact on these students. So I'll head up there at this point. But I also want to say the amount of work that they put into this they're probably starting now.
Oh, we're not.
In order to do that.
We're 4 meetings in.
I know what it takes, I only plan a little Christmas gift drive, but compared to you guys, going for 12 months and, and to give it all to the community, I mean, it really is commendable, and we're all so grateful for it, not just me, but I know everyone who, receives that assistance. It's just phenomenal. So going on up here to the, I need to see if I'm blind. How many move? Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks. Right here, just to the side. This area. Beautiful. Yep. Okay. So all or nothing. Okay. All or nothing.
But would you like
This is good. I mean, well, I can see it. Does everyone want to move closer?
Do you want to try it?
This is what we do in the auditoriums, right?
Do you want to test it? Try it.
No. Do you want to test it without lights? To see? All right. We'll give it a try. You know how we always do that? How's that? Okay. So the McKinney-Vento program is actually part of an initiative that has 4 other policies under it. It's now known as the Educational Stability Program because these 4 groups of students have the most instability that we know of, and what we try to do, again, is mitigate that. So the biggest group is the students who are homeless. Right now, we have about 80 students in our district who are homeless, meet that definition. The definition is a triggering event where they lose their home and they're sleeping or staying in a place that is considered not a permanent residence. They might be doubled up with a relative, they might be at a shelter, they might be at a hotel, they might be at a campground. We even have a few who are couch surfing, which means they spend a few nights in one place, a few nights in another. They just try to piece it together with friends, relatives, whoever they can. The next group would be our students who are in foster care. We have about 20 students district-wide. That number has never really changed that much. I've seen it go as low as 15 and as high as 30, but it hovers right around there. The next 2 groups of students, we just want to keep an eye on them, but they tend to do a little bit better. So students whose parents are actively serving in the military. Again, these are students who kind of can have, hiccups in their learning. They can have gaps in their learning. It's not as easy sometimes to make friends when you're moving around or get used to new routines. So we try to do everything we can to help them feel comfortable, to feel a part of things, to feel part of the community. And of course, the last group of students who are migratory. That's different than immigrant. People use those interchangeably, but migratory would mean anyone who comes here for work at certain times a year and then they move on. So again, these groups tend to be the most transitory, and for those reasons, we just want to help them as much as we can through tutoring programs, through whatever enrichment we can provide, and making them feel a part of our community. Okay. So we have an incredible amount of community-wide collaboration here in Marshfield. I have collaboration from teachers, administrators, agencies, churches, businesses, private residents, philanthropists, basically anyone I can recruit, I recruit them. Along with addressing immediate needs, which come up on a daily basis. Food cards are asked for daily, or sometimes I've even done shopping for people. I'll bring them to the food pantry, get them introduced, get them used to that. We also help them with their, of course, clothing needs. I also put them in touch with agencies for rent assistance, heat assistance, whatever it is they might need. Sewing Seeds is another agency in town that I work very closely with, because some of these families who are barely hanging on, if something big were to happen, for instance, if they maybe have a car bill or something like that, Sewing Seeds can sometimes help with those kinds of things, whereas that's not kind of like what the McKinney-Vento group does. But all that collaboration means that we're getting the job done and we're helping to address these needs for these families. So along with addressing the immediate needs, we're also able to address their need for social interaction, building confidence, self-esteem, and their desire to learn about the world around them. So we have been able to offer a number of enriching experiences to these students within this district. And this has really been absolutely amazing. So when I first started here, it was, we were just trying to piece it together, one student at a time, 5 students at a time, and eventually we got to a point where I was reaching out to the community, doing presentations, helping everybody learn about this So right now we have 30 students enrolled in various programs, whether it's therapeutic horseback riding, art lessons, the Boys and Girls Club, Tumble Fun, Marshfield Youth Basketball, depending on seasons, it could be soccer or baseball as well. Wellness programs at JPH Ferry Hill, and Train for Life. And one of the things that I absolutely loving is students are now coming to me for instruments and lessons. And we actually had a donor who said, show me Unipay, I'll get on Unipay. We'll put in money, we'll make sure these kids have the lessons they need and whatever it is they need. So, as I said, we just evolve. Whatever needs come before us, whatever requests come before us, this is where a lot of the funding is going that is helping these kids to feel a part of things, to participate. So the past year, we've helped send students to prom. We've helped rent tuxedos. We've purchased the prom tickets. These are students who otherwise would not be able to attend. We sent students to the Plymouth Philharmonic concert where they had an opportunity to meet with professional musicians and actually try out their instruments. We've helped with field trip fees. We help with Wi-Fi connections, tutoring, bikes, swimming lessons. Honestly, almost anything that comes before us, we find a way to make it happen. This is actually awesome. This is kind of like my baby. So summer 2023, we raised enough funds. I wrote 3 extra grants, and we raised $60,000 and sent 80 students to camp last summer. I love that because if you look back at 2020, when I first started trying to send kids to camp enrollment, I sent 7 kids. So just in 3 years, we've been able to help this many kids go to camp, and these are all the camps who are involved: Boys and Girls Club, Camp Sanctuary, Levitate, horseback riding, Tumble Fun, Swish Basketball, Camp Borndale, the Emerson Y, Camp Burgess, the Clara Barton Camp, Ferry Hill, and Camp Clark. And again, it depends on the student's needs. After I talk with the parents, and after I sometimes, if the student's old enough, I'll ask them what their likes are. And we just try to match them to that experience. And I don't know if I ever shared this with any of you, but one of the reasons I started, when I had the opportunity to send kids to camp, the reason that I did it is because years ago, I was working in a school, and you always have those students that just, push back all year long and just give you a run for your money, and you think, oh my God, why does he hate school so much? Like, I tire everything I can, and oh my God, we love this kid, but he just gave us a run for our money all year. And so it was the last day of school, and you'd think he'd be the first one running out the door and skipping down the hall. And I got to the foyer, and he was sitting in a chair while the bus was waiting, and I looked at the principal, and I was so confused. And the principal pulled me aside and said, Robert, he doesn't want to go home. He has nothing to go home to. He's in foster care. He won't do a thing all summer. He's lucky if he'll get a meal. So now once this is years ago, I was a young special ed teacher, and once I saw that and I understood what all that bravado was about, I understood really we were his family. We were his routine. We were where he had meals every day. We were who he could depend on. Let me tell you, when he came back the next year, the first thing I did was give him a hug, and I said, the jig is up. But anyway, now being in this role, I know that these kids have a lot of anxiety as May comes and June comes, and that these students, really, that's because, they want to do some things like their friends are doing, and they don't want to be at a shelter or a hotel for endless hours and endless days. So to give them even 1 or 2 weeks of being able to go to a camp and have fun, learn how to swim, learn how to ride a bike, just be with friends and play, it changes their entire outlook. So here's some of my kids. So some of this is I think from Ferry Hill, and they were having like a painting class and just having some fun there. We're putting together a brochure because I'm about to hit up all the foundations again. And here they are. This little guy in the blue, you would not know it, but he is the shyest, quietest kid, and you put him on a horse of all things, and look at him, he's like up there with it. It's just amazing what this camp experience does, and thankfully, obviously you can't tell who's who, but a lot of these kids normally would not have these experiences if it weren't for all the wonderful donations that come into Marshfield. Just look at that, just getting to be kids. So another area of focus that has become unique to our educational stability program is helping vulnerable students successfully transition from high school onto the workforce, college, or a certificate program. So we presently have kind of like an unofficial task force that we just decided we had to bring this together. We had a few kids who were graduating that absolutely, they didn't have family, they didn't have an aunt, they didn't even have parents. But we knew what their potential was. So 4 of us banded together. One of them is a retired teacher here. And we helped them with FAFSA. We went ahead and made calls to the admissions offices at colleges. We just did everything we could to make sure that they just had this chance, because they were just about to give up. They were just going to get a job and give up, because it can be a daunting task for any of us who've had kids that when you fill out that paperwork and you have to meet with all these people, and it's a lot for an 18-year-old, to not have someone there to guide them. So this is something that we've kind of unofficially started. So we do have right now 4 students who graduated in the past 2 years who are all gone on to colleges, and again, with the support that we get and the encouragement that I get, and I'm so inspired by so many people, we just keep evolving. Again, whatever the needs are, we just want to meet it and make sure that these kids are as successful as they can possibly be. So again, the Ed Stability Initiative of Marshfield Schools has made great strides over the past few years. We will continue to evolve to best meet the needs of all these learners so that they can have academic success. And I thank all of you. Tom knows, I go into Tom's office, can I buy this, can I do that? And, will this be approved, am I gonna get denied? And everyone has just always been so encouraging and so inspiring. And so that's where it energizes me, keeps me going for these kids. Jeff knows I was in the building Sunday most of the day, putting together like all these wonderful things for some teens who, typically wouldn't really have much of a Christmas. But again, all these donations came from all these different areas, whether it was like the stockings that got sent in, or one group sent in cards for the movies, and another group purchased, Sherry Costello and the Marshfield Realtors purchased all of these students the beautiful black sweatshirts with the green M. So they're all going to get those, and we're just so thrilled that we get the support that we get, and I can't thank all of you enough for doing that for us.
Stay here if we have questions, or just...
Oh, absolutely.
So, any questions or comments? I'm sure we have things to say for Robin.
Yeah. I've talked to Robin a lot, but you're doing great work. You really are, and I know that you know that, but it will never get old hearing it. It's impressive what you've done over the past few years, and it's been really great to watch you grow. There's so many awesome, you're right, you're in a really great place here. Marshfield is the best. And I think that everyone else here would agree with me that Marshfield is the best.
For sure.
It's so important for these kids to feel like they belong. And, as you say, something as simple as just a Marshfield sweatshirt. When I tell people that's one of the most requested things that kids want, they just want a sweatshirt with an M on it. And it's like for 90% of us, that's not a big deal, but to them, it's their whole world. So all the stuff that you're doing is very admirable. Thank you very much. We're very lucky to have you.
Thanks for all your support.
I'm wondering how such a big heart fits in such a short. I think, through the facts and things, all I just saw was your heart. And I think for kids in our community to be able to be connected to someone who can connect them to all of this with such a big heart is huge. Yeah. I worked in residential foster care for a long time before I came here, and what you said about kids just wanting to be a regular kid is exactly it. To be able to get a bike or go to a camp or a class or whatever, tumble fun like all the other kids in their class. That's really, really, really important, and allows them to be students.
For sure.
But kids first. So thank you, and thanks to everyone here. This is great. My favorite meeting so far.
So a few years ago, and you mentioned my mother, in your presentation. So she has been working with you, I think was one of the first groups to work with you when you started doing all of this. And, a few years ago, you wrangled me and her into helping you sort through some of the gifts and everything that you were giving to the kids.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember that day at central office as we were going through all of the boxes, because you would point and you would say, oh, this kid's getting this, he's going to love this, this is, and you know, he does this, and you had something to say about like every single one of your kids.
I'm like the old woman in the shoe. I know them all.
One of my favorite quotes is from Mr. Rogers, and it's the famous quote of when things are dark or when you're in trouble, look for the helpers.
Yeah.
And you are a helper at heart.
Thank you.
You are a real asset to the Marshfield community. But beyond that, I think it's very clear to everybody. I mean, all of these people are here. They're here because of you and the work that you're doing to make it very generous. Thank you. Very generous donation to you and the work that you're doing and the work that we do here in Marshfield Public Schools. But I think everybody here recognizes just how lucky we are to have you.
I feel the same way, believe me. It's really an honor for me to serve this community. You know, because people will say that, and I appreciate that, and I acknowledge it, and I'm grateful for it, but it's really a blessing in my life as well. I love doing this. I am completely giving back to this community. You know, years ago, I went through something as well when I was a little kid, and this community sustained us and helped us sail through it, and with such dignity. And that's what I try to do for these students, to just always make sure they have dignity and that they're okay. So I thank people for hiring me, for putting me in this position, and I feel very honored to be doing it.
And I know Mr. Granatino has something to add.
Yeah, it's just, I cannot say enough about you, Robin. I mean, this goes back from the day we brought you on board, and, you know, we started raising the awareness of the homeless population here in town, and I remember speaking to some of our earlier school committee meetings about that need, and, you know, you were making baby steps along the way, and then, you know, a couple years in as you hit your groove, we ran into COVID, and then your you know, nurturing skills and desire came out full front, you know, with the work that we did with the kids to make sure that there was food getting to them, because a lot of those students, you know, relied on food at school, breakfast programs and all lunch programs. So, you know, you spearheaded, along with our friends over at the Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Burnell, the food drop-offs that we were doing. And we would pack bags and drop them off around town, and it was something that really got a lot of those families through a very, very tough situation. And then it spawned so many other events that the Boys and Girls Club took off in conjunction with the schools, and the sewing seeds and the food pantry, and it really just galvanized this unity that we have amongst all of those caregiving organizations around the town. And you've, you know, brought that, you know, to the forefront now with the quarterly meetings that you have, and we have 40 to 50 people upstairs of interest talking about ways to help children, you know, and families, and, you know, from housing to rent payments to food to transportation to college tuition. You know, we're caring for our kids in so many different ways, and it's all because of you. And as you know, over the years we've been honoring people that that really stand out. And you know, through our Educator of the Week program, and I was almost embarrassed to think that I hadn't named you Educator of the Week yet. You probably should have had it 4 times, and I was going through all the records to make sure that I didn't mess up and miss you. And I'm like, well, if I messed up and you got it, you're the first person that would deserve to get it twice.
Oh, yes.
But tonight you are Educator of the Week.
Oh my God!
I always tell people that, when I'm in class usually doing this.
Well, you guys all steal the
I'll tell the kids, I wish I had $1 million to give them, but we don't have that, but I have a t-shirt. Tonight you say we have $24,000 to give you. But I'm not going to use $24,000, so.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
wow.
Medium or small, I don't know what you do.
Whatever.
Okay, well.
Both.
But you want to get in here with your
Come on,
crew?
yeah. I would love that. I would love everyone to be in there.
Come on over here. People in the back
This is
row.
really such an honor. I am so touched by this.
I'm gonna throw it on.
Okay, yes.
Get it, Mark.
I can't get
Come on in.
Ellen Tom, get in the corners. This is a group effort.
I said, I always want one of those. This is it.
All right.
So much. Oh my God. You guys are just awesome. You're the one I'm very touched with. This is like the best gift ever with Laura. Thank you so much. This is really, oh my God. I don't even know if I can wear it. It's so worth
Yeah, she's the best.
See, was she 80? 89. 89.
She said Where's the shirt? I think a few times I was actually kind of cool doing something.
Very brief. It is brief. My draft. It's very brief. Okay, yeah.
I want to...
Don't feel you have to hang out, Dave. Oh, we have to accept the gift first.
So, we have not yet accepted your gift, so we have to...
Sit down, everyone.
That's important.
That's important.
See, it was 24, correct?
24.
That is
It's amazing.
unbelievable.
On top of 45 the previous 2 years.
No, it was 21 last year.
Oh, so it's 45 together. Okay, got
And
it.
then, yeah, I can give you the history of it.
I think that's fine. No, this is good.
Do we have a motion to accept the donation of $24,000 from the Rib Cook-Off Committee? So moved from Ms. Briggs. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 300. We are so grateful. And again, like Mr. Granatino said, don't feel like you have to stick around. You're welcome to. It's a public meeting.
Well, thank you for inviting us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Happy holidays.
Thanks,
You too.
everyone.
Everyone safe and happy holidays.
Yes.
Very happy so much. Great meeting you.
Thank you.
We'll meet all these around January. Little do you know, 'cause I used to do pre-K, yeah. So literally.
Okay, wow. Following that is tough. Mr. Granatino, what a great choice. That was great. I sincerely hope, as we transition into talking about the superintendent search process, I sincerely hope that whoever steps into your position continues the educator of the week. I think we should stress that
for a while.
If not, there's a problem. Highlighting educators is important. So this is the last agenda item of the night before we move on to the minutes and to the update. I'll just very briefly let folks know that we have been in full swing with the search committee. We've had some interviews already. We are in the middle of the process of interviewing semifinalists. The search committee, I want to compliment the search committee, and I know you'll join me in doing that. We have a really great group. They have been so committed to this, so thorough, so thoughtful in everything that we've been doing. We've come up with some great questions, and a big part of not only the questions that we've come up with for our candidates, but the criteria with which we're evaluating how they answer those questions, is thanks in large part to the community survey that was sent out. I think we've said it at this meeting before, but I'll reiterate that we sent out the community survey to every parent or guardian, every staff member, and even every student to answer about what they're looking for in the next superintendent, what they think we're doing well, what they think we should be focusing on, what they think we could be doing better, all of those things. Sent that out to everybody. We asked MASC, our consultants on this search, what the typical turnaround, the typical intake is for something like that. We were told that in districts of a similar size, one that's doing a search right now that is a very similar size to us, they had received around 150, I think it was. We received about 500 from Marshfield. So that's fantastic. I want to thank the search committee very much for thoroughly reviewing every single one of those survey results. Ms. Brait and I certainly had a lot of reading to do with them, but it's eye-opening, and I'll take a moment here to say there were a lot of great things in that survey, and one of the things that I noticed is not a single bad word about the gentleman to my left. There were so many positive comments about the relationships you've built and the work that you've done here, and how folks hope to have somebody step into your role that will continue that and do everything they can to move Marshfield forward as you have. So that's really great to see. And I know your answer to that always is, and it's correct, that you have a great team, and you do. And that was noted as well. There's a lot of folks who feel very strongly that we have some positive things going on here in Marshfield and our schools like Ames Way, and at every school in our district. And of course, there's also a roadmap of things that we can do differently. So the search committee has discussed all of that. We came up with some great questions and criteria for that. We're interviewing semifinalists now. We are still on track. Now, Ms. Bishop tells me that it might snow on the road. But we are dusting. It's a beach day in New England. But we are still on track to have our special meeting next Monday to announce 3 to 5 finalists. Those finalists next week will be taking time to do a site visit at MPSD, where we'll have community forums for them to meet and speak with parents, and then another forum for them to meet and speak with staff, and then a forum for them to meet and speak even with students. So we're looking forward to that process. And obviously it's tough to get a schedule out there right now of when those will be, because we don't have finalists yet. But as soon as we have finalists, we'll work with them to schedule those and get that information out to the community so folks can know about it and folks can attend and make sure that they hear from the next educational leader in Marshfield Public Schools. The big day for us as a committee is Saturday the 16th, just reiterating. That will be at the Seth Ventris building, their central office building on the 2nd floor. That starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday the 16th. That's when we're having the finalist interviews. Our partners at MCM will be there to film it and hopefully broadcast it live for families and those who might not be able to be there in person. But it's a public meeting. Folks are more than welcome and encouraged to attend. Because it's a public meeting following the open meeting law, only school committee members are allowed to ask questions, but we definitely want folks to attend that meeting and hear from the candidates for the next superintendent. And then we're still on track to announce, to vote on and announce our next superintendent on Tuesday, December 19th, 2 weeks from right now. So it's an aggressive timeline. We've been meeting that timeline and exceeding that timeline thanks to the great work of our search committee and with the help of the folks at MASC. But I'm very excited. I looked at Laura when we walked through the door yesterday. I was like, I am so jazzed today. It was our first day of interviews, and I was like so excited. And there's just so much to be excited for, because this is the future direction of our schools. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. But that is where we are at in the search. I am very, and I hope you echo this, I'm very, very pleased with where we're at.
I'm curious, how many applicants?
Am I allowed to say that?
I think we want to lay off the numbers for right now, yeah.
There were many good applicants.
Good.
And we had many good semifinalists.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? You have anything to add?
I do not. You did a great job.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on. I don't know if we can do minutes today.
I think we can only do one, the November 14th.
Why don't we take care of that then? Take care of the November 14th minutes. Yes, that's right, because there's the 3 of us. Daniel Webster, yes. So just a moment to scroll if you'd like. I want to compliment our newest member on all the great questions you asked at this meeting. That was really a very informative conversation.
Oh, at this meeting that we're looking at?
Yes. No, at this meeting notes. Yeah, that was really great. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 14th?
Yeah.
So moved by Ms. Dargan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Brait. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 3-0-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on into our informational, and then we will adjourn. Mr. Grantino.
Quickly, Family Math Night. I'm not going to steal Dr. Martin's thunder. An amazing event last night. She'll fill you probably in a little bit more. I know what the students mentioned in their report. To get 300 people, students and parents together on a Monday in December, somewhere in pajamas, to talk about math is a pretty cool thing. And so kudos to you and everyone that helped put it together, but I'll leave the details for you. I know we talked about Connections, the DWS Connections program that they highlighted at their last meeting. I got to see it up close and personal this past Friday. Awesome. It was so neat to see the kids. They were really jazzed up to see all the word they just used, and they were paired up the way they were paired. They knew their teams, and they knew who their staff member was, and they all went to the different rooms, and they talked about things that they had in common with each other, and just had all these icebreaker type activities and leading questions. What type of pizza do you like? And they talk about that. Or where would you like to go? And someone, I like California, this and that. If they had people that had similar thoughts, and they'd get together, and it was just 20 minutes of just sheer fun and interaction and engagement, and everyone, whether you're a fifth grader or a first grader or kindergartner, you're taking part in it, and it was a really nice program. And Ms. McNeil and her team, they were involved as well, her and Ms. Jackson, and it was just fun. So to hear about it and then to see it in action was pretty cool. So I want to give them a shout out. Again, fall sports wrapped up, and I'm not going to go into details too much, but just congratulations to everybody, especially the football team, our cheerleaders, our dance team, our band that all got to take part in last week's Super Bowl at Gillette. Although it didn't end up the way we wanted, it's just an experience of a lifetime to be able to play at Gillette and have the fans there. And by far, I think I was able to confirm from some folks at the MIA that our crowd was probably the biggest crowd that they had in all the 8 games. So that was really neat. And there's a lot of good spirit and just a great season. But our boys and girls soccer had amazing seasons, going deep into the tournaments. Our field hockey team made the tournament. Our golf team did really well. Got to, I think, 6th place in the South Sectionals. Girls and boys cross country, both regular league champs. The girls also won the league meet at the end of the season. Boys came in 2nd. Our volleyball team worked really hard. I know they didn't get the wins they wanted, but they never stopped fighting, and they worked really hard, and a great group of student athletes, and just a lot to be proud of. And now we roll into the winter, so excited for that. I think it was mentioned earlier, but we have our holiday concerts coming up tomorrow and Thursday. They broke it up into 2 nights, so if you can make it to the high school, 7 o'clock both nights. Great performances always from our musicians. Hope you can be there. And then my last thing is something we don't typically do, but I just want to highlight it, and I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, because I always talk about you don't get too high with the highs or too low with the lows, but there's a lot of different groups that come out with different ratings of school districts and this and that. They have national rankings, you have state rankings, and we're always somewhere in the middle, better than average all the time, but it's not something we've mentioned, but this year it just kind of jumped out at me that I think we should make a little bit mention of this one. This is U.S. News and World Report. They rate schools in every state across the country, and then they do a national rankings, but really the focus is on how we rate in the state. And they use predominantly MCAS data. It's not subjective type data. It's MCAS data based on those that are above proficient in math and reading and language arts. They have incorporate our socioeconomic data as well into that. And what they come up with is a rating from 1 to however many they have, I think, for the elementary schools. And they don't have it for the high school. For the elementary schools, I think they ranked just under 1,000 schools in the state. And there's more that are out there, but some of them, for whatever reason, aren't ranked, and I can't remember the rationale they used. And then the middle school is about 500, actually 492 that are ranked. And if you fall within the top 40% of their ranking, you're deemed one of the best elementary schools, one of the best middle schools in the state. And this year, all of our schools, our 5 elementary and our middle school, all were well within those margins, so they were all deemed high-performing elementary and high-performing middle schools across the Commonwealth, or as they call them, the best elementary schools or the best middle schools in the state. But one that really jumped out that I want to highlight is Governor Winslow. They were 15th in the state, 15 out of, what did I say, 958 schools. So that was pretty impressive. The top 1.5% of all the schools in the state. So kudos to them. All of our schools have done great though, all within the top 30%, so all within the top third of the state. And our middle school came in the top 20% of the state. So great job by our staff, great job by our students, great support by our families. This is not happening in a vacuum. It's a group effort, it's a team effort, and you know, there's room for growth as there always should be. But this is one time when I think it's just nice to look at the numbers and it reflects what's going on here in the district and more importantly what's going on in the classrooms. I just want to congratulate all of our schools for getting this ranking and to the Governor Winslow for being 15th in the state. Pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And just a quick note on behalf of all of us, every single person at this table, that Super Bowl at Gillette was a ton of fun, and you were a big part of why we were able to have so much fun. So thank you very much for everything you did for us that night. That was great. Please thank your son Will too.
I will.
Dr. Martin.
I don't think we've met since the high school art show opened at North River Art Society. I know I saw some of you there. It was awesome to see the kids and their families, and just the parking was atrocious for so many people. And also the play that goes wrong, funniest play ever. I know I took my own kids and we were laughing up a storm the whole time. I actually wanted to go back and see it again, but I couldn't make it a second time. Governor Winslow, grade 4, this was really interesting because we have an artificial intelligence task force right now to talk about how it's being used in the classroom and how our students are using it. Grade 4 at Governor Winslow did an out-of-this-world Thanksgiving performance, and they used AI to write it. And it looked at the history, the future, and now. And it was really, really great. But I thought that was really interesting because they used AI to write the book and performed it. So more on that, I'm sure, coming about AI. We had an elementary literacy parent information night several weeks ago. That was on Zoom. Our 2 literacy coaches and Early Bird, which is our diagnostic that we give for dyslexia screening, they hosted it. We had more people sign up than showed up, but we also shared the video with people. So we recorded it so that everyone can have that information. And then, of course, the family math night that Mr. Granatino referenced was amazing. We had about 100 families pre-register, so about 300 people total. Some of them didn't show up, but the ones who didn't show up, there were plenty that didn't pre-register that also showed up. One thing I noticed about that night, we had one thing in the cafeteria. We had cookies and milk, and the library, Ventures Library was there. And when I looked around at the cafeteria tables, I expected to see kids running around, families, just talking. No, they were literally playing math games at the tables. Like, took the math games from another table and were playing as families. And it was just wonderful. iReady came. Our math coaches are just gems. So Janine Hatch and Danielle Johnson, just wow. And we had teachers that volunteered and some of our Title I tutors. It was sponsored by Title I, even though everyone was invited. Title I kind of kicked it off and bought all the prizes. And it was just a great night. Lasted for an hour and a half, and people were ready to go home and they were ready to go to bed because they were in their pajamas. And I did get a picture. You didn't tweet out your picture.
Well, I was going to tweet out my own picture. You can
I'm going to tweet your picture out. He was not in his pajamas.
I wasn't in my pajamas.
But he did do the photo booth. I had like the instant camera going so that people who didn't want to be on social media, they actually got an actual picture. So that was a hit.
Nice.
And let's see, just one plug for Megan Molander and Bree Gaffney at the middle school. They're doing 12 days of giftmas. And what it is they have a tech tool every day, and the teachers can click on this calendar and they get a new tech tip, and they can try it, and it could be an app, it could be like an interactive game, something. If they try it, they share out their thoughts and experiences on a Padlet, and then at the end of the month, they're going to go into a raffle. But the tools on this were just amazing. Like, it goes everywhere from Canva to AI tools to anything. So I just wanted to put a plug in because that was really, really good. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Miller?
Real quick, just an update on the start times in our transportation subgroup. I know I talked to Mr. Costello about potentially splitting up those two committees.
Yep.
I think with your permission, we'd like to do that.
Yes, I think we should move forward.
And I know I've spoken to Ms. Dargan about
Yes, she would
her
be.
interest in the start times.
It will end up being Lauren and Kendra.
Laura and Ken, okay.
Lauren and Kendra.
Laura, okay, excellent.
We'll be on the start
And
time.
And then you have Rich and
Rich
Laura
and
on transportation.
Laura on transportation.
Gotcha.
So we're going to move forward with that. I know we have a couple more interested parents that we might reach out to as well.
Yep.
And we really need to push forward for that because we need to make some decisions there before we proceed to the next phase of planning for next year, which is getting the fee information out for the 24-25 school year. I can't believe we're talking about that. But we need to have some times settled before then. There's going to be 2 different proposals based upon what we can do at the elementary level. So a lot of interesting conversation to come on that front. So we'll be updated.
Thank you very much. Any subcommittee reports at this time? No? No. Okay. I want to thank you both again for having us here.
Great job.
Really great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Great hosting. Thank you so much. Thanks for the candy. We're clearly enjoying it. I've had like 3 pieces.
I didn't eat one. First time ever, I did not eat one.
I'm starving.
Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved from Ms. Braid. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Dargan. There's a roll call there. Mrs. Pazurski.
Mrs. Dargan? Here. Mrs. Braid? Here. Mr. Costa?
Yes, thank you very much. We will
Thank
see
you, folks.
everybody in 6 days.
Yes.
Awesome.
Do you have time for that?